People always ask me when it ended. Like there was a day, an hour, a single moment when everything fell apart. They want a clean answer, a dramatic fight, a betrayal, something they can point to and say, there, that's where it broke. But that's not how I lost her. I lost her in a Tuesday morning when I scrolled through my phone while she talked about her dream. I lost her in the dinner where I said, without looking up. I lost her in the anniversary I remembered but didn't feel. I lost her in 1,000 tiny moments I thought were too small to matter. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. I didn't even notice it happening. We met the way all good love stories start. Unexpectedly, inconveniently, perfectly. I was 26, working 80-hour weeks at a job I thought would make me someone important. She was 24, finishing grad school, and had this laugh that made everyone in the room turn around to see what was so funny. We met at a friend's birthday party, one of those cramped apartment gatherings where you're half shouting over music and holding a warm beer you're not really drinking. I was exhausted, planning to stay 20 minutes and leave. Then she walked in wearing a green sweater and immediately tripped over someone's backpack. Not a cute, movie-style stumble. A full, arms flailing, nearly face-planted trip. And instead of being embarrassed, she stood up, looked at the backpack, and said loudly, "Who brings a backpack to a party? Were you a hiking influencer?" Everyone laughed. I fell a little bit in love right there. We talked for 3 hours that night. About everything and nothing. About how we both hated small talk, but somehow always ended up trapped in it. About her research on childhood literacy. About my weird obsession with collecting vintage maps, even though I never traveled anywhere. She told me she believed people were like books. You couldn't judge them by their cover or even their first chapter. You had to read the whole thing, even the boring parts, to really know them. I remember thinking, I want her to read all of me. The first year was the kind of love that makes you understand why people write songs and poetry and do stupid, grand gestures. We stayed up until 3 a.m. talking about parallel universes and whether our other selves had found each other too. We drove 2 hours to see a meteor shower and fell asleep in the car before it even started. We made elaborate Sunday breakfasts and ate them cold because we couldn't stop talking long enough to finish cooking. She had this thing she did. Every time something good happened, even something small, she'd grab my hand and say, "Remember this one." A perfect sunset. A joke that made us cry laugh. The smell of rain starting. She collected moments like other people collected photographs. "Remember this one," she'd say, squeezing my hand. And I always did. Back then, I proposed to her on a random Wednesday. No ring, no plan, no perfectly orchestrated moment. We were doing laundry. She was folding my socks in that precise way she always did, pairing them like they were going to sock wedding. And I just knew. I knew I wanted to fold laundry with her for the rest of my life. She said yes before I even finished the question. She said yes with detergent on her hands and happy tears in her eyes and a mismatched sock in her lap. We got married 8 months later in her parents' backyard. Small ceremony, 70 people, string lights in the trees. During our vows, she promised to always tell me when I have something in my teeth, even if it's embarrassing, because that's real love. Everyone laughed. I promised to remember all the moments. I meant it when I said it. Here's what they don't tell you about marriage. The beginning isn't the hard part. The beginning is easy. You're still high on the newness of it all. You still notice everything, the way she hums. While making coffee, the specific way she says your name, how she always steals the good pillow. The hard part comes later, when life gets loud and busy and full of things that feel urgent. When you start believing that love is a given, not something you have to actively do every single day. The hard part is the slow fade, the one you don't see coming because you're both just living. It started so small, I couldn't have named it if you asked me. I got a promotion at work, the one I've been chasing for 2 years. Suddenly, I was managing a team, traveling for conferences, answering emails at midnight. I was important, needed, building something. She was proud of me. She said it all the time. "I'm so proud of you." And I'd smile and kiss her forehead and go right back to my laptop. I started missing dinners. "Work thing, babe. Sorry. I'll make it up to you." I started staying late at the office. "Big project. You understand." I started bringing my phone to bed. Just one quick email. And she never complained. Not once. She just adapted. She ate dinner alone. She watched our show without me and filled me in on what I missed. She stopped asking me to come to bed because she knew I'd say in a minute and show up 2 hours later. She adapted to my absence so seamlessly that I mistook it for everything being fine. There was a night, I remember it clearly now, though I barely noticed it then, when she tried to tell me about her day. She had a breakthrough with one of the kids in her literacy program. This 8-year-old who'd been struggling with reading for months. He'd finally finished his first. We stopped having real conversations. Everything became logistics. Can you pick up milk? Did you pay the electric bill? I'll be home late. We were roommates managing a household, not partners building a life. Our anniversary came around. Year 4. I remembered it. I even got her flowers, the expensive kind from the good florist. I made a reservation at the restaurant where we had our first date. We sat across from each other in that dim, romantic lighting, and we had nothing to say. We talked about work. We talked about our parents. We talked about needing to fix the leaky faucet. We were two people going through the motions of romance without any of the substance. At one point, she looked at me, really looked at me, and asked, "When did we get so boring?" I laughed. I thought she was joking. "We're not boring. We're just comfortable." She didn't laugh back. "Is that what you think this is? Comfortable, isn't it?" She pushed her food around her plate. "I guess." We finished dinner. We went home. We went to bed. We never talked about that conversation again. I think the moment I truly lost her, the moment it became irreversible, was so ordinary I almost didn't include it in this story. It was a Saturday morning. I was working from home, catching up on a presentation. She came into my office holding 2 mugs of coffee, wearing my old college sweatshirt that was 3 sizes too big on her. "Hey," she said softly, "want to take a break? Go for a walk or something. It's beautiful out." I didn't look up from my screen. "Can't. This presentation is due Monday. It's Saturday. You have all weekend." "I know, but if I finish it today, I won't have to stress about it tomorrow." She stood there for a moment, holding both coffees, waiting for me to look at her. I didn't. "Okay," she said quietly. I'll go by myself then." "Sound good. Have fun." She left the coffee on my desk and walked out that I didn't think anything of it. I finished my presentation. I felt productive, accomplished. I even had time to watch some TV before bed. She came home 2 hours later. She didn't tell me about her walk. I didn't ask. But years later, years after everything ended, she told me that was the moment she knew. That was when she realized I'd already left the marriage. I just hadn't physically moved out yet. "You chose a presentation that wasn't even due for 2 days over 2 hours with me," she said. "And the worst part wasn't that you chose work. It's that you didn't even hesitate. It wasn't even a choice for you. It was automatic. Things got worse, but so gradually I convinced myself everything was fine. We were fine. All couples went through phases like this. We get back to normal once work slowed down, once things got less hectic, once life calmed down. But life doesn't calm down. You have to make it calm down. You have to choose it." She stopped sharing things with me. She stopped telling me about her day, her dreams, her frustrations. She stopped asking me to come to bed. She stopped saying, "Remember this one," because there was nothing worth remembering anymore. We became strangers who shared a zip code. I noticed, somewhere in the back of my mind, I noticed the distance. I noticed the silence. But I told myself it was temporary. I told myself we'd fix it later. I told myself we were strong enough to weather this. What I didn't realize was that later is where relationships go to die. The end came on an unremarkable Thursday in March. I came home from work around 9 p.m., later than I'd said, but not unusually late. The house was quiet. I figured she was reading in bed, or maybe already asleep. I found her in the living room, sitting on the couch in the dark. No TV, no phone, no book. Just sitting there. "Hey," I said, turning on the lamp. "Why are you sitting in the dark?" She looked at me, and her eyes were red. She'd been crying. "What's wrong?" I sat down next to her, reaching for her hand. She pulled away. "I can't do this anymore," she said, and my stomach dropped. "Do what?" "This. Us. This version of us." "What are you talking about?" "We're fine." She laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. It was hollow, broken. We are not fine. We haven't been fine for years. And the fact that you think we are just proves how far apart we've drifted. That's not fair. I've been working hard to build our future. Our future? She cut me off. When's the last time you asked me what I wanted in our future? When's the last time we talked about anything that mattered? When's the last time you looked at me, really looked at me and saw me? I didn't have an answer. I've been lonely for 2 years, she continued, her voice cracking. Lonely in my own marriage. Do you know what that feels like? To live with someone who's physically here but emotionally gone? To compete with a phone, a laptop, a job that will never love you back. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. I didn't realize. I'll change. I'll be better. Just tell me what you need. I've been telling you, she whispered. For 2 years, I've been telling you. I've been asking you to come to bed, to take walks with me, to talk to me, to see me. But you've been too busy climbing a ladder to notice I wasn't climbing it with you anymore. So what are you saying? She looked at me with eyes that held more sadness than anger. I'm saying I'm tired. I'm saying I deserve someone who chooses me. Not someday, not later, not when work slows down now. Today, in the middle of the boring, ordinary moments. That's when love matters most. She moved out 3 weeks later. No big fight, no drama, no slammed doors or shouted accusations. Just boxes and suitcases and the systematic dismantling of a shared life. The divorce was finalized 11 months after that Thursday. We split everything fairly. We were civil, almost friendly. People commented on how mature we were. Here's what I learned too late. Love isn't just the big moments. It's not the proposal, the wedding, the anniversaries, the grand gestures. Those are easy. Those are fun. Anyone can show up for the highlights. Love is the Tuesday morning conversation. It's putting your phone down when your partner is talking. It's taking the walk even when you have work to do. It's saying, tell me more instead of, uh-huh. It's noticing when they've been quiet too long. It's choosing them over and over and over again, especially when it's inconvenient. I thought I was building our future by working so hard, but I was actually destroying it. Because what's the point of building a beautiful future if you lose the person you wanted to share it with? Along the way, she was right there, right in front of me, holding coffee, asking for walks, trying to share her world. And I kept choosing everything else. I didn't lose her in one catastrophic moment. I lost her in 1,000 paper cuts, 1,000 forgotten moments, 1,000 times I picked work over presents, 1,000 times I said later and never followed through. It's been 2 years since the divorce. I've done a lot of therapy, a lot of reflection, a lot of sitting with the uncomfortable truth that I was the architect of my own loneliness. I saw her a few months ago at a mutual friend's birthday party. Different venue, different season, but eerily similar to the party where we met. She looked good, happy. She was wearing a blue sweater this time, and she didn't trip over anything. She was there with someone new, a guy who listened when she talked, who laughed at her jokes, who wasn't on his phone. I watched him watch her with the kind of attention I used to give her back before I started taking her presence for granted. She saw me across the room and waved. Not hostile, not cold, just neutral, like I was someone she used to know in another life. We talked for a few minutes, surface level catching up. She told me about a promotion she got. I told her about a trip I'd taken. We were polite, friendly even. Then her new person came over with drinks, and she lit up in a way I hadn't seen in years. He handed her a glass and said something that made her laugh. That full, room-turning laugh I fell in love with. And I realized she hadn't lost that laugh. I had just stopped earning it. That I think about her sometimes. More than sometimes. I think about all the moments I could have chosen differently. The walks I could have taken. The conversations I could have had. The coffee I could have accepted. I think about the version of us that could have existed if I'd just been present. If I'd remembered. That love isn't something you feel. It's something you do. Every single day. Especially on the boring days. Especially when you're tired. Especially when work is calling. Here's the brutal truth. You don't get those moments back. You don't get a redo on the Saturday morning walk you turned down. You don't get to reclaim the Tuesday conversation you missed. Time moves in one direction, and every moment you don't show up is a moment gone forever. I don't know if sharing this story changes anything. I don't know if it helps anyone. Maybe it's Just a confession I needed to make to strangers because the people who knew us don't want to hear about my regrets. But if you're reading this or listening to this, and you're in a relationship, do me a favor. Put down your phone, close your laptop, look at the person you love and really see them. Ask them about their day and actually listen to the answer. Take the walk, have the conversation, say, remember this one, and mean it. Because here's what no one tells you until it's too late. The relationship doesn't end when someone walks out the door. It ends long before that, in all the tiny moments you thought were too small to matter. Don't lose your person one forgotten moment at a time. Learn from my mistake. Choose them now, today, in the middle of the ordinary, before later becomes never, before presence becomes absence, before you're standing at a party, watching someone else make them laugh, wondering how you let the best thing in your life slip away while you were busy staring at a screen. Some endings don't come with closure. Some lessons cost you everything to learn. Some regrets sit with you forever, quiet and heavy, a permanent reminder of what you could have had if you just paid attention. I'm paying attention now. I'm just paying attention to an empty house, to silence where there used to be laughter, to memories of a love I thought was strong enough to survive on autopilot. It wasn't, and neither is yours. That I don't know where you're watching this from. Maybe you're alone in your room at 2 a.m. because you can't sleep. Maybe you're on a lunch break, scrolling through videos to pass the time. Maybe you're avoiding something, work, a difficult conversation, a reality you don't want to face. Wherever you are, whatever brought you here, I hope this story meant something. I hope it stung. A little. I hope it made you uncomfortable. Because sometimes discomfort is the only thing that wakes us up before it's too late. If this story made you feel something, regret, recognition, relief, anything, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment and tell me. Where are you watching from? And more importantly, what's the lesson you're taking from this? What moment are you not going to let slip away? Maybe you're realizing you've been the person on the phone while someone you love tried to talk to you. Maybe you're seeing yourself in the Saturday morning, I turned down a walk. Maybe you're the person who's been lonely in your own relationship, and this story made you feel less alone. Whatever it is, share it, because these stories matter most when they become conversations. When they stop being my confession and start being our collective wake-up call. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. Not for the algorithm, not for the numbers, but because you recognize